Before the speech starts, I want to mention this very quickly. The content within the speech is very important for each and every vegan to understand and to actually implement in their own life, because that will accelerate how they live their life, but also how quickly the world will become vegan. English isn't my first language and therefore the delivery can be quite off within the speech, but please listen very careful to the content within the speech and implement those things in your life. And if you find any value within the speech, please share this message and leave your questions or comments down below this video. And thank you for watching this speech. Who of you here have set goals for themselves, health and fitness related, but did not achieve them just yet? Who of you here? Okay. Yeah, me as well, or me too. But what if I told you that after this presentation tonight, you will have everything that you need to actually set up these health and fitness goals for yourself, but also to actually achieve these goals. Let me first start this presentation with me managing your expectations. My goal for today is, let me run back to the keyboard, is first of all for the vegans in this group to understand why is it so important for you guys to actually start pursuing your health and fitness goals, and why it could be one of your most important things that you do as a vegan to spread veganism around to others. And for all the other people in this group, from the first or just joining, why is it so important for you to actually pursue your health and fitness goals? Because also for you, it is one of the most important things in life that you can do. And today I will try and explain to you why that is. So in short, the first question, why is it so important for you to actually start pursuing your health and fitness goals? But I also want to tell you, okay, how do you actually do these things? And we will have a little bit of the basics. So yeah, this presentation will start with the why, then setting goals. Of course, how do you lose fat? How do you build muscle? And what is the right mindset to actually have, and what principles should you live by to actually pursue these health and fitness goals for the long term? Because we don't care about short term, it's only about the long term. Before we start, let me make something very clear. When I'm not doing my job correctly, at any moment of clarifying this diagram, I've got some tomatoes over here. Please come and grab one and throw them at me, because I should be doing my job correctly, right? Now let me begin by telling why is it so important for the vegans in this group, mostly over there. Why is it so important for you to actually pursue your health and fitness goals, and why is it the most important thing that you do to spread veganism around? Because as all the other people who are not vegan, or maybe they are, know as annoying vegans, that is our main goal, to spread veganism around. Stereotypes. Stereotypes are a real thing. Now I want to ask the non-vegans here, can you name some vegan stereotypes that you know of? And don't hold back. What are some ones? Just yell them. Activism? Okay, and is it a little bit annoying activism, or yeah? Okay. What are some others, or just from the vegans? Sorry?
Climate change and animal welfare.
Okay, and what are the stereotypes that you have with the vegans themselves?
That kind of like sometimes screaming a little bit not too loud about it.
Okay, yeah.
Also other problems in the world, I think.
Okay, yeah. And yeah? Okay. And okay, now we have heard the activism part.
Or maybe the negative perception of the opposite side. So if you're not a vegan, you are just negatively assumed and looked at.
Yeah. Okay. So let's think of the other side of the stereotypes. For example, the first things I thought of when I wasn't vegan was, okay, the skinny man, or you can't build muscle as a vegan. Yeah, but those stereotypes you didn't name. But yeah, the other ones, it is very true. Yellow name. What is his name? Just a random name. Just a random name. Patrick? Patrick and Bram. This is Patrick and Bram. He isn't vegan and he doesn't know any vegans. The only thing that he knows about is the stereotypes. And these stereotypes, when he thinks of becoming vegan, when he thinks of veganism in general, he thinks of these stereotypes. For example, the annoying activist, but also the, oh, you can build muscle, you can get protein, and all of these things. That's reason number one for us vegans to be the most fit and be the most healthy that we can be. Because Patrick and Bram, was it right? He thinks of the vegan stereotype. That's reason number one. Reason number two, yell another name. We could have saved one, but yeah. Another name. Chad? Okay, this is Chad. He looks like a Chad, right? He does know a vegan in his friend group. This person, he is vegan, and Chad knows him. And when he thinks about veganism and becoming vegan, he thinks of this person who is probably, or he is unhealthy, and he is probably low in energy and all the other vibes that he gives off to Chad. That's reason number two. You are the vegan for the people around you. If it is your friend group or, for example, your family or all the other people around you, you are the vegan and you are the one they think about when they think of veganism. All the other people. Why should you pursue your health and fitness goals? Why is it also for you the most important thing that you do in life, or can be one of the most important things you do in life? When pursuing your health and fitness goals, these things, going to the gym, eating the right foods, going to bed early, and all of these things that come about with pursuing your health and fitness goals will lead to a gain of self-confidence. Because you are holding yourself accountable, you are doing the things that you should do, which aren't actually all that easy. And when you do them, you start to gain self-confidence. Why self-confidence or confidence in yourself? Why is it so important? One example, if you have more self-confidence, you are more likely to voice your opinion when others around you maybe don't agree with you. Yeah, and this leads to more debates. More debates will probably lead to more truth-seeking. More truth-seeking will probably end up in more truth. And therefore, a gain of confidence will eventually lead to a better world. Yeah, so that's one. Gain of confidence. Also, when you are pursuing your health and fitness goals and exercising more, you are losing a fat that you want to lose, or you build some muscle that you are trying to build, you build some discipline, because you need discipline to start doing these things over and over. Go to the gym, eat the right foods. And this discipline, again, just like the confidence, it ripples down in all other areas of your life. For example, if you are studying and you want to get the best grades so that you can go to the best master program that you want, and in the end work in a company or build your own company that provides a great product or service for the world, you are better at doing this with more discipline, which you get from pursuing your health and fitness goals. So in the end, more discipline for yourself will in the end lead again to a better world. Okay, confidence is nice. Discipline is also great, okay. But these two things are nothing or worthless without the actual energy to sustain doing the things that you know that you should do. And that's conveniently the third thing. When you are more fit, when you are more healthy, you build some muscle, you lost the fat that you should lose, you automatically gain more energy in your daily life. You can do the things that you know that you should do for a longer amount of time with greater focus. And at the end, again, leading to a better world. Okay. Before we go to the last reason why it is so important for everyone here to pursue your health and fitness goals, I really want to emphasize that working yourself, going to the gym, eating the right foods, saying no to parties, saying no to this and that, can be really seen as selfish. And it is quite selfish. But with everything, these different things in mind, is being selfish really that bad? I personally really actually love getting comments from, for example, family members, old friends of mine. Comments like, "Hey Timo, why aren't you going to the party with us?" Or, "Hey Timo, why are you only focusing on your own goals? Why aren't you spending some time with others or energy in others?" And all I think about is, okay, the previous mentioned points, while I'm working on myself, while I'm pursuing my health and fitness goals, I'm actually creating a better world in the end. And, as you can see on the nice picture over here, pursuing your health and fitness goals, doing the things that you know that you should do, is actually very contagious. If you start working on yourself, if you start striving to pursue your goals, others around you, if you are aware of it or if you are not aware of it, people around you do the same. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next week, maybe not even next month. But eventually, people around you will start to do the same thing because they are inspired by you. How little of actions you are making, they are inspired by you. And therefore, in the end, creating a ripple effect. So for the vegans, you create a ripple effect by creating more vegans around you. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, like I said. And for all the other people, you will create all the other points with other people. So the gain of confidence, the gain of discipline and energy, and all the other benefits. That was a kind of joke. So I've kind of ruined it. So hopefully you aren't thinking, okay, Timo, why is this arrogant guy standing over here? When is this presentation finally over so I can eat some French fries? Yeah, that was a kind of a shitty joke. Okay, so to make it a little bit clearer on why I do think the way I think about these subjects, I want to have a little story time and introduce myself to you, because I did do that with a couple of people, but not everyone. Let's go really deep into it. This was me. I was fat and unhappy, and now I'm not as fat and not as unhappy. Next point. No, let's go to the first picture. For as long as I can remember, I was always the fat kid. There were only 3 things that I did in my life back then, and that was go to school, I went home and started to game, and I ate a lot of food. I also did a little bit of football, but you can guess probably where I was standing in the goal, of course, to avoid a little bit of running. When I was 16, 17, 18, there were a bit more things in my life, or I started doing a little bit more. I went to school, I went home and started to game. I ate a lot of food, but there were 2 more things, and that was I started drinking a lot of alcohol and partying a lot. This didn't make me any happier than I would have wanted. Yeah, at this phase in my life, I wasn't really happy because I didn't have something to strive for in life. The only things I did look forward to were the times I went, or the times I drank too much alcohol so I could forget my own life, actually. Yes, let's see what, oh, that was another joke. Yeah, so when I graduated from high school, I went to uni, and really nothing had changed, except for the fact that my study program didn't need a lot of my time, my personal time. My old friends didn't go to the same university, and I didn't make any new friends, which led to me having a lot of alone time, or time alone, which isn't very great for someone who is unhappy in life, right? But with every negative thing in life, there's always a positive thing. And now was the joke that I was going to say I discovered cocaine, and then laughing emojis. But no, the positive thing was that I started having a lot of time to reflect on my life and time to actually think about the deep stuff in life and actually think about, okay, what is it what I want from life and what will make me happy in life? I always said that I wanted to be rich in life, so have a lot of money. That was always my thing when I was growing up, and yeah, in my teenage years. So I went to YouTube, like every smart person in the world, sat down, and I typed in, how do I make a lot of money? And I found an entrepreneurship channel. I started watching videos in my spare time, and my findings were that, okay, for the business you are trying to build, for the money you are trying to make, it is very important. The person you are is very important. And the different character traits that you personally have and build are very important. For example, long-term thinking, having a certain amount of determination, persistence, grit, and all these different character traits are very important. So I went and I thought to myself, fuck, I don't have any of these things. I didn't do anything in life. So I went to the mirror. Here's the mirror. And I said to myself, I looked myself in the eyes. And I said to myself, okay, Timo, if you don't lose the weight that you should be losing, if you don't go to the gym a minimum of 3 times a week, you are a total fucking loser and you will never be happy in life and you will never do anything in life. That was my little mirror talk. At that moment, that was a moment that it really became real for me. It became also very important and emotional to me. I actually couldn't tell you how many liters of tears were shed at that moment. And it makes me a little bit emotional again. So in the first months of 2019, I started losing the weight I should lose. So I lost 13 kilos, which isn't too much, but okay. I went finally to a healthy weight. I was finally at a healthy place. I never was at that weight at my height. Yeah, and the thing that was most important that I discovered during this time, during the transformation, was, okay, anything in life is possible when it becomes important enough. So that was point number 1. Okay, I could actually lose the weight if my daily actions started to shift somewhere else. Then became the second most important moment in my life, and this one is a little bit shorter, so don't start falling asleep, please. I was walking to the bus from, or other way around, I was walking from the bus, there's the bus, to uni, listening to a podcast, and they were talking about, okay, not all animal products are as healthy as we are told. Yeah, I was kind of shocked by that fact, and I started watching documentaries, I started watching YouTube videos, I started watching reading several books, and I went from eating half kilo quark a day, I went from eating 1 packet of turkey meat a day, I went from, yeah, name all the animal products, I was eating them every day, not all of course, and from that I went vegan in 1 day. As the months went by, I started watching more YouTube videos and more focusing on the ethical side of veganism, and therefore I was convinced, okay, I will be vegan for the rest of my life because I don't want to harm others when it's not necessary. Yeah, now we are 4 years later after the fact that I started not making my life seriously. What do you call it? Yeah, the transformation, taking my life seriously. That's the word, thank you. And 3 years later, after becoming vegan, and yeah, I've built some muscle, lost the weight back then. But that's the reason, my life story of 4 years, is the reason that I'm so passionate about helping others achieve their health and fitness goals, because I've seen what it has done to me as a person. I've seen what it has done to me in my life, what my life looks like right now compared to then. Yeah, and that's also why I started this company, Ethical Gains. Ethical because it's the ethical side of veganism, and gains to break the stereotypes, not the activism because I'm still annoying, but the part of not being able to build muscle as a vegan. So once again, to really emphasize on the why, pursuing your fitness goals is the best thing that you can do for yourself, for the people around you, for the people who you love, and actually for the world, with all the points I've mentioned before. So now is my question to you: what is your emotional why? What is your why? And try to find. Got a kind of a cool trick to use if you can find it immediately, and that is just simply by keep asking yourself why. For example, oh, I want to lose fat. Why? I don't like how my appearance is. Okay, why? And keep digging deeper and deeper and deeper. And maybe the deepest down it is, oh, my mother never loved me. But hopefully, yeah, it could be something like that. So, yeah, who wants to do these questions with me? It is very brave to do so. I do understand that, but I think it could be really nice and important for you personally if someone wants to do that. What is your why? Try to do that for yourself. And there's the piece of paper. If you don't have a pen, you can also do it on your phone. But let's take a couple of minutes and keep asking yourself, why is it that you want to pursue your goals? And they can be health and fitness related, but indeed other sports or just in life in general. Let's dissect the two different goals. We have now the emotional goal, the why, the emotional why, and we also have a concrete goal, just like, okay, I want to lose 15 kilos of fat in 6 months, for example. Those are the concrete goals, or build 3 kilos of muscle in a couple of months, for example. Let's take a look at how do we actually set these concrete goals, because the concrete goal is actually the one that will accomplish your emotional goal. And therefore we should also set concrete goals, right? So how do we do that? Again, we have a fun analogy. Let's go on a road trip together with this group. We need 3 things to plan a road trip. Can someone name something that is needed to plan a road trip? Yeah? A destination, that's one. A vehicle. It's part of a larger group. Could you think of a... Yeah. So, indeed, the way to go there, and if it is with a vehicle or a plane, is that also called a vehicle? Bicycle or by foot. So the way to go there and the pace you are going, so you can travel or plan everything. And the third one, what is needed? Cost? Yeah, it's part of the traveling, but yeah. Sorry? Could also be one. I'm looking for a really simple one. Is also very important. Also very important, but those are all the things that fit into the way to go there and the pace you are traveling at and all these things. Yeah? Exactly. That's the one. So we need a starting point where you are right now. We are in Tilburg. Where are we going? What is the goal destination?
Home.
Sorry? Home. Okay. And what is the transportation? Okay. Yeah, and these things are the same that we need for our body concrete goals. Let's take an example. Someone is 110 kilos with 35% of body fat, for example, in this example. His goal weight is 88 kilos because he wants to be at a healthy weight, which could be 15% of body fat. But what is the way to actually go to that destination? That's very important. So the way to go there, but also what is the pace that we should actually lose fat? Okay, let's do a little bit of recap what we have done so far. We have cried over our why together. We have set, or not yet have set, all of the different goals, but for the concrete ones, you can write that down later on the same piece of paper. So you have the emotional goal and the concrete goal. So now let's go to the two different things. What is it that we should actually do? What actions are we actually needed to, or what actions are needed to be taken? Because without putting in action, we can't achieve these goals. If I want to walk to the door and I'm standing right here, I want to go to that door. I need to walk. Yeah, so there are two types or two ways to actually change our body, or the most convenient and healthy way. We can amputate, but let's not do that. We can lose or gain fat. Loses most likely for the most people, preferably. And the second one is to build muscle. Let's first look at this nice blob over here, the losing fat part. Again, I will really go really deep into this matter. Move more, eat less. Eat less, move more. No, when it comes down to it, it is really, really, really all that matters. Our bodies are dependent on energy. We need energy to survive, to wave our hands around like this, just like this nice thing. We need energy to move around. What are some other things that our body needs energy for? Just yell them. You don't have to raise. Brain activity. Digestion, for example, just basic exercises in the gym. The little foot wiggle if you are sitting down and listening to some stranger talking about some scale. Yeah, so that is, when it comes down to it, this is really the only thing that matters. Yeah, so we have now talked about the energy expenditure part. Yeah, so when we try to lose weight, because fat on our body is just stored energy. And how do we take in the energy that we need? Because we also need to take in energy. In all foods, for example, this large banana, just for scale, of course, consists of calories. And calories is just a measurement for energy. Yeah, so we are using energy with all the daily activities, and we are eating energy by eating food. When you eat less energy than you are burning off, let's take a look again at this thing. So when you take in less calories and thus energy than you are burning off, your body will transform your fat reserve to usable energy, because otherwise you would die. And that's not preferably, just like the amputating. So again, when it comes down to it, a calorie deficit, an energy deficit, is the only thing that works all of the time for everyone. And there are no exceptions to it. There are nuances to it, like there's to energy subject, but that's not really important right now. Let's go back to the concrete goal setting, because now we know the way to lose fat. We also want to know the pace of losing fat. And it is really quite simple. It's a 0.5 percentage point to 1% point you want to lose at a maximum every week. If you are eating in a too great of a calorie deficit, this is one of the nuances. If you are eating in a too great of a deficit, meaning you are eating too less calories than you are burning off, you will lose more weight than the 1 percentage point per week, as calories in, calories out works all of the time. But this is not sustainable for the long term, and therefore people are most likely to regain all of the weight back, and most of the people do, because they aren't sticking to a small calorie deficit. And therefore we should have a sustainable diet, meaning a diet that we can actually stick to for the rest of our lives. There are 3 things that we need for a sustainable diet. 3 things. And the first one is the satiation index. He is full. He is satiated. The second one is, do you actually enjoy the foods that you are eating? That is also very important. And the third one, which we have discussed already, is the greatness of the calorie deficit. You don't want to have too great of a deficit, because then the diet will probably not be sustainable anymore. Let's zoom in on that guy in the left top corner, the satiation index, or the satiety index. Meaning, what are the factors that make a food fill you up more than another food with the same calories, for example? Does anyone know a factor of this satiation index, the satiety index? Fiber? Yeah, that's one. What we mean by the satiety index is, for the same calories, when we compare two foods, what makes one food more fill you up than others? And indeed, one of the things that we want to strive for is low calorie dense foods. But let's take a look at the things that I find the most important ones in the satiety index that you can actually practically use. Volume, fiber, you've said it. Perceived intake, viscosity of a product, portion size, the environment you are in, the people you are with, the taste and variety of the eating pace, routine, your training, and are you sleeping, and how many hours are you sleeping. This was the end for the fat part. Do any of you have questions on the losing fat part, or on the satiety index, or on one of the individuals, how you can implement them in your life?
What is actually
Perceived
perceived intake?
intake. Let's make a stupid example. We have this card. This card is a little card. When we place it on a large table, it looks even smaller because there's a large table. With food, we have plates. If you take a large plate and you put the food that you want to eat, put on a large plate, it fills you less up than when you put it on a smaller plate, because you perceive, or the perceived intake is higher on a smaller plate, because you think, wow, I can eat this full plate. So is that clear? Okay. Viscosity is how, I'm not sure if dense is the right word, but for example, vegan yogurt compared to vegan quark. The quark is more thick than that, and that's called the viscosity. So the thicker the product, the more satiating it is. So for example, if you drink soy milk, or if you eat soy quark for the same amount of calories, the quark will fill you up more.
Everybody the same?
Roughly,
Yeah.
roughly, because food consists of 3 macronutrients: the carb, protein, fat. You also have alcohol, but of course you are students and don't drink any alcohol. And those four things consist of a certain amount of calories. For example, the protein and the carbs, the carbohydrates, both have 4 calories per gram, and the fat does have 9 calories per gram. So every food consists of these, and when you eat them, they have these certain types of energy. And what was your question specifically in the body?
For example, for a person that wants to lose weight
Mm-hmm.
and they start eating less, will they still have the same amount of energy in like during the day because
Mhm.
they're not taking in that much food?
Yeah.
anymore?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. There are many nuances to that question, because the question is for all the people, if you are taking less food, thus less energy, for example, do you have less energy while in the daily life, right? The nuance is, okay, if you are in a too great of a deficit, this will happen. You will have less energy because you are living on lower energy. For example, one of the things we use energy for are, for example, the daily activities. If you are sitting down and you are ticking constantly, this is called the, no, not the thermic effect of food, but the need. So it's called the non-exercise thermogenesis, which is all the small little movements throughout the day. When someone is consuming less calories, and let's say drastically, this will really decrease. So that's one of the nuances. It is calories in, calories out, but your calories out will also go down if you eat too little. For example, you will automatically start wiggling a little bit less, ticking a little bit less. So with a too great of a deficit, you will feel that you have less energy throughout the day. But if you start with a calorie deficit of 200, 300, 400 calories a day, maybe if you stick to it for 6 months plus, you will feel it. But it's more dependent on your body fat percentage, because, for example, someone with 60% of body fat, they have enough energy on their body to keep themselves high energy, and they will probably most likely gain energy because they are losing the fat. So that's kind of the nuance in it. Is it clear, or? Yeah? Okay. Other questions on fat loss or on this part? Okay. So we have talked about the first 3 things. Let's go to muscle building, or muscle building. That's not a silly joke, because we want to look at what is needed to build an actual house, because it's very similar to what we need to build muscle. We need 4 things to build muscle and 3 things to build a house. Of course, much more, but 3 simple things. What is the first thing that we need to build a house? Sorry? Materials, yeah. Building blocks? A plan? Yeah. Simple things. Simple things. A place to build, yes. Also very nuanced. Not really, but it is correct. Second one. It's also a building block. Energy is needed, because we have the construction sites and the machines that should be working with energy. The workers that are walking and hammering things down, they need energy. So we have building blocks, energy, and the third one, which is quite a difficult one, so not really simple. One more crazy guess, and maybe there's someone who thinks, wow, that is it. Time? Almost. A reason to build the house. Because without any reason to build a house, for example the money, no one will build a house. The same goes for to build a muscle. So these 3 things can be categorized in 4 things. 1, energy. We need calories to build muscle. The second one, building blocks. We need protein and water. That's the main building blocks of muscle. And the 4th thing is we need a reason to build the muscle, because our muscles, if we sit down every day, eat protein, drink water, and we have too much energy, we won't build any muscle, or just not enough, or not significantly. So, okay, energy, water, protein, and a reason to grow. That's the training part. Let's take a look at the energy part. The energy part, we want to eat in a maintenance state, meaning you eat just like the calorie deficit. We don't want to eat in a calorie deficit, but in a calorie maintenance state, meaning you eat roughly the same amount of calories or just a little bit more, calorie surplus. You can build muscle in a calorie deficit. For example, if there are people that have a lot of fat, you can build muscle as a beginner in a calorie deficit, and the more you progress, the harder it gets to build muscle in a calorie deficit, and therefore it's most optimal to be in a maintenance state or a little bit higher than maintenance state, that the calories that you are eating. Because if we eat more than these calories, what will happen? Gaining weight, gaining fat, right. And we would want to lose that again in a couple of months, and that's not what we want, right? Okay, so that's the energy part, the maintenance. Okay, water, how much water? Enough. You need to drink enough water, meaning you need to go to the toilet every 2 to 3 hours, and it needs to be lightly yellow. Great. For the protein part, as everyone over here knows, maybe over here a little bit less, as vegans we cannot get any protein from food. We actually rely on photosynthesis, so we need to be in the sun all day. No, we can get protein. We want to get at least 1.6 to 1.8 grams of protein per kilogram of your body weight per day, and optimally spread over the whole day in 3 to 5 moments. That's optimal. Is eating 1.5 great? Yeah, it's just a little bit less optimal. And this is not to be healthy, this is to build optimal muscle, or to optimally build muscle. Because we need less to be healthy. Let's that be clear. And then question mark above the dumbbell. Training. What should we do for the reason to grow and the training part? Here we have 6 different exercises. These are the 6 different exercises that any beginner could do, because these 6 exercises will move your whole body, will train every single important muscle of your body. And if you are a beginner, this is really where you should start. There are many more exercises with small pros and cons to these. So start doing these exercises if you are a beginner. The second thing, what you should be doing with these exercises is keep doing them over and over and over again. A couple of weeks, months, even years, couldn't hurt. And become better at these exercises. And start adding a little bit more reps, a little bit more weight over the weeks when you are becoming better at doing these exercises. Yeah, that's it about the training part. Really simple. It also has a lot of nuances, of course. What are these numbers about? Can anyone guess? Sleep? The left one? Oh. Sorry? Rest?
Yeah, you should have 84 hours between rest between so muscle group, otherwise it would damage too much.
Did everyone hear that? Perfect. Rest between the same workout or the same muscle group trained, and this one perfectly the amount of hours you want to sleep. This is for the average human. Some need less, some need more. Again, everything has nuance. So, we need one more thing to be optimally healthy, because yeah, it's not about the looks, or not all about the looks. It's not all about being the perfect vegan role model. Well, it is. But we want to actually be healthy, and therefore we need one more thing, and it's maybe something that not all people like, but yeah, let's see. What is the first thing that pops in mind? Cardio. Walking, yeah. And the feeling? What? Sweat, okay. What else? High. What's high? Okay, yeah. I thought, that's not the best way to do it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, cardio is one of the most important things to do for the most important muscle of the whole entire body. And that's this one. The bicep is fun. The tricep is fun. The glutes are fun. But this is the most important muscle. Work out your heart. This is done by doing cardio. And you should aim to do 150 minutes of cardio each week. This doesn't have to be sweating like crazy, because that's what the first thing that popped in mind. But that's not needed. 150 minutes of cardio can be a lot of fun. For example, your favorite sport, football. It can be going on a walk with a podcast on, or going on a walk with a friend to talk with them. Or it can be on the elliptical watching a fun documentary. Okay, so we have done the first 4. The why, we have set our goals, the building muscle and losing fat. So now you perfectly know with every nuance how to do that one. So what is the right mindset to have actually success in the long term? Because as we have said before, the long term is the only thing that matters. What principles should we live by? The first one. These are all very simple, by the way. Like everything, it's just about implementing. Try to be better every day. Just by a bit. We don't have to make leaps every day. We can make leaps some days, but it is very important to know that just a small improvement is enough. For example, 1 more rep in the gym, or 1 more minute of cardio, or for example, if you start to lose weight, 1 unhealthy meal swapping for a healthy meal, or 1 high in calorie meal swap for a less high in calorie meal. So know that the leaps aren't needed. The second one, do what you know that you should do, especially when you don't feel like doing these things, because these things are quite hard 90% of the time. Who of you here, so maybe a really off-topic question, is a great salesperson? So for example, when selling something to, yeah? Okay, we have 1 here. Another one? Okay. What if I told you everyone here is a great salesperson? For example, this morning I was training. I did a leg workout. Oh, fun! And I was on the elliptical after the workout. And I always do 20 minutes of cardio each and every time I work out, which is 6 times a week. I looked at the monitor and it said 14 minutes. I always do 20. But I thought to myself, okay, today let's do 15. I can use these 5 minutes to prepare for tonight. I can, no one is actually watching me, so why would I bother doing these 20 minutes? My muscles felt sore, my body was tired, I was sweating like crazy, even though it doesn't have to be for doing the cardio. So I told myself, okay, let's hit 15 and go home. Then I remembered this one. Do what you are supposed to do, and do all the things that you say to yourself that you are going to do. I almost sold myself this morning on doing 5 less minutes of cardio. And I think everyone here has that little voice in their head that is selling them the easier path. The path that doesn't lead to the success in the long term. Does everyone have those kind of thoughts when doing cardio or when studying? Okay. Yeah, and the simple thing that you do at one of these moments when you're thinking, oh, 5 less minutes of cardio, 1 hour less of studying, or let's put a pizza in the oven because I'm tired. It's very easy to actually go over these things, and that's just simply by doing the things that you know that you should do. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I feel like because when we wrote down the whys,
Yeah.
I wrote down because I play volleyball and I wrote down my why, and I said mostly mentally to feel good in my own skin.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about just doing things by intuition? Because I feel like the entire presentation is a lot of rules and this many minutes and this many fibers and this many calories, blah
Mhm.
blah. Aren't you putting too much pressure on yourself, taking everything into account? And can it be also really healthy when you wake up and you feel like having a pizza breakfast that you should do it?
Yeah, there are many great points that you are making. Indeed, in my presentation there are many things. Okay, you must do this, you must do this. Therefore, I said, okay, there's always nuance to it. So this is more the basic theory behind it. And therefore, I thought it was very important to have the mindset part in this, because try to be better every day just by a bit. I'm trying to tell you, okay, for example, if you eat unhealthy, you don't have to do everything in one moment. What I'm trying to explain is the most optimal way of doing things, but that is by changing yourself bit by bit. See where you are today and make the smallest amount of change here and there, because we don't want to make this obsessive, because then again in the long term no one would stick to it.
And that's why I asked, because
Yeah.
I felt like if I had all these voices in my head, it would tire me out instead of giving me energy.
Mm-hmm. And what thoughts do you mean?
Yeah, all these rules, and
Yeah.
I should do this and I should
Yeah.
do that
Yeah.
instead of, oh, I feel like going to a sports class, I'm going now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the second point, where of course there's also again nuance, because one, you can listen to your body, like, okay, I'm feeling like eating this or feeling like not going to the gym, but I don't think we should rely on that maybe 10-15% of the time, because I listen to my intuition all my life, or all my first 18 years, and most of people in the Western world are listening to their intuition, ending up with 15 or 50% of people having are obese. A large portion, and more than half of the Netherlands, for example, is at an unhealthy weight. So yes, there are some times that you, when you can listen to, okay, I want to have a pizza today, and therefore, okay, try to be better every day, just by a bit. But when we listen only to our intuition, it won't end well for most people. For some people, it does.
No, I get your point.
Yeah.
I was just curious if you ever feel like you're putting too much pressure on yourself.
Yeah. Again, there's a nuance, like there is to everything. The first one is, okay, being too strict is not good, and therefore you should always keep in mind, okay, that it will come in a minute, one of the mindset parts. And the second nuance, what I believe when you say, okay, are you putting too much pressure on yourself? Maybe the two extremes. Someone who puts a lot of pressure on themselves and someone who isn't putting pressure on themselves. I think 10 times out of 10, this person will achieve more in their life, will be at a healthier weight, will be more accomplished, will be more happy in the end with who they are as a person than someone who thinks, wakes up, okay, I don't bother going to the gym, I'm not going. And each and every day, so that's the extreme, but also, again, there's nuance. So sometimes you can say, okay, I am really tired, I am actually really tired, I had a long week, I had a long month, and I did what I supposed to do. One day, okay. So, yeah, it is very important to not be obsessive and not be too strict, and that's a very important point. So, yeah, thank you. Was that clear, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's take a look at the next one. There will be bad moments. It's one of the things she kind of mentioned. There will be bad moments. There will be bad days. There will be bad weeks. There will even be bad months. But let's try to make each one of these one skill down. For example, the bad month. Let's try to make that a bad week. Let's try to make a bad week a bad day. And we do that by simply doing what we know that we should do. But knowing that there will be bad days prepares us, or how do you say, voorkom? Prevent from hitting ourselves too hard in the head. Knowing that there will be bad moments and you aren't Jesus who walks on water. So the fourth one and the last one on the mindset part, which is, kind of what you mentioned. Be grateful for where you are already. Be grateful for the progress you have already made. Be grateful for the person you are already, today. But know that you have a long way to go and that you should be improving yourself each and every day. This prevents, or hopefully prevents, those thoughts of, okay, I'm beating myself up. And therefore, it is great to take some time out of your week, to take some time out of your day, to sit down with yourself and just evaluate, wow, how great is it what I've already accomplished, even though it might be the smallest changes, one unhealthy meal for a healthy meal, 0 times a week to the gym to 1 times a week to the gym. Give yourself a pat on the back for the smallest changes that you have already made. But not for too long, because you have a lot of improving to do. Each and every day we should be improving. By how much? Leaps? No, just by a bit. So, have I made this diagram a little bit clearer?